sometimes they'll tell you you can't put that picture in there because it might be too disturbing or it might be too silly, they think, whoever they are. So I'm really happy that I could be self-published, and rather than explaining the book to you or sharing an excerpt, since you don't know me and never heard of me, I thought I would just read the introduction, if that would be okay. It's just a couple of pages. The name of the book is A Daughter Reborn from Baby Girl to Midlife Orphan, and I'm Monnie Whitson. My parents abandoned me. They weren't bad parents, and I wasn't a terrible child. They simply died. They told me over and over again that one day they surely would. Their death seemed premature, unfair almost, but I believe my daddy would write that his death was not tragic, nor was his beloved's. He would probably say that the suffering of life was the tragic part. I was lucky to know of their impending deaths, and I made the choice to actively participate in their final days of life. What I learned in the process is shared here in my first book, a dream that Daddy said nearly 30 years ago I would realize when I gained enough life experience. Interestingly, they were the ones who gave me all of the material without even knowing it. Daddy loved the writer in me, but encouraged his baby girl while in college to settle on a career other than writing. He didn't think that I could support myself with a written word, so as luck would have it, the spoken word came through for me. I was in morning radio for 20 years, and now I've taken a giant leap again into the world of writing, my first love. A Daughter Reborn is the true account of my 6-year journey of letting my parents go. It is intertwined with my personal journal entries and emails and letters from my parents, who died within a year of each other. Mama in June of '08 from complications to Parkinson's disease, Daddy from complications to cancer in June of '09. It is as accurate as possible, with some memories blurred or repressed due to the nature of the subject. And it is told through my eyes. Family and friends who shared in this journey may remember things differently or learn something new. One thing is certain. It is a love story. I was approached to write the book by my agent, Trey Pennington, a social media expert, writer, speaker, who encouraged this endeavor to help others. I hesitantly agreed, and after many agonizing months of fear, intimidation, and bewilderment at exactly who would ever want to read it, I decided that even if I sold only one copy, and that would be the one I would buy, of course, this would be some small way to honor my parents. Through A Daughter Reborn, I hope to bring some comfort to adult children with sick and dying parents, especially those who may feel guilty that they did not do enough for their parents, or for those who don't know if they have the strength to continue as caregivers. It is often a slow and torturous process which can beat you into a pulp, sometimes making you unrecognizable, even to yourself. I pray this book will remind us that death is a transformation, not a goodbye, and that we must let go of them in order to move on, though they never let go of us. Many of us run from death and suffering, escaping the void of death by turning to unhealthy practices and behaviors. I know I did. You'll learn of my brief prescription drug addiction in an upcoming chapter, and a second failed marriage, the purpose of which I later discovered was yet another escape. To deal with death in a healthy way, we must embrace it and fully accept that it is our destiny. I can't speak on the death of a child or a loved one taken suddenly, but I know that grief is grief, and I realized after my second parent died that I face a certain death. My daddy was not afraid, which really means he is forever my hero. I'll share the saddest moment of my life, the day I had to make the decision of whether to continue Daddy's medical treatment on his behalf. The enormity of that choice still haunts me today, but what I discovered about me following his death is amazing indeed. I continue to be inspired by their unbelievable love story. They were my greatest teachers, so beautifully human. Their 46-year marriage is a shining example of what love can be and can do. The spirit can be unbreakable. Mama and Daddy's love for each other proved that. As the story unfolds, you'll see what I read during the darkest days of their lives, which were also their most significant. I learned that true love is not always pretty, and without hope, you have nothing. My daddy was more in love with my mama the day she died than the day he laid eyes on her, which is a strong statement given the magnetism of their relationship. The book starts at the beginning of the end with my decision to come back home to Greenville, South Carolina for my radio job out west. I wanted to be there for my parents in whatever capacity they needed after Mama was admitted into a nursing home. You'll read the letters my daddy wrote to me, many of which were an outlet for him to vent and share. I cherish his words. More than anything, they show the power of communication, appreciation. And as I read back over them, I realize the very eloquent, funny, and gentle man he was. I can also feel the pain in his writings, dealing with his beloved's battle with Parkinson's, a cruel, incurable disease which imprisoned the beautiful spirit that was my mama. He was a remarkable husband and friend to her. In these letters, he continued to thank me for my dedication to her and to him. And you'll read emails from Mama, too. Amazingly, I found these old letters quite by accident. It confirmed for me that she, too, wanted to be in the book. She sent these emails to me when I was in Albuquerque and was just learning this new technology when she suddenly became ill from complications following deep brain stimulation surgery. That is to alleviate symptoms of Parkinson's. Her messages to me were always uplifting and concentrated on my continued success instead of her own mounting troubles. This work has allowed me to grieve faithfully and openly for the two most amazing people I will ever know. Sometimes I still can't believe they're really gone. After all, they carry the pictures of my life in their hearts. And I wondered at times if their deaths meant I didn't really exist, that my life was nothing more than a whisper. Writing and sharing about them makes me feel alive, and it allows them to continue breathing through me. I know they are reading my words. I feel them smiling. I also know they would desire to be symbols of hope and inspiration as they were to me. In the end, it was my greatest honor to help the very people who breathed life into my soul to die. May they forever rest